خلاص دافع عن أرضك ووطنك.
President Bashar al-Assad performs Eid al Fitr prayers at Anas Bin Malek Mosque in Damascus. Al-Halaqi gets briefed on the situation of services in Kafar Souseh, the reserve bakeries and the fire extinction center in al-Mazze. The Syrian Arab army targets terrorist hideouts, eliminating dozens of them, including non-Syrians in Aleppo, Lattakia and Damascus suburbs. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and happy Eid. President Bashar al-Assad performed this morning Eid al Fitr prayers at Anas Bin Malek Mosque in al-Maliki neighborhood in Damascus. Performing the prayers with the President were senior party and state officials, a number of People's Assembly members, the Mufti of the Republic, several Islamic scholars, and a multitude of citizens. The President was received at the entrance of the mosque by the Minister of Religious Endowments, the Mufti of the Republic, the Ba'ath Arab Socialist Party Assistant Regional Secretary, the People's Assembly Speaker and the Prime Minister. The President and the attendants performed the prayers led by Sheikh Ahmed al-Jazairi. Following the prayers, the President listened to al-Eid speech delivered by Sheikh Jazairi, who underlined the noble meanings of Eid al Fitr, referring to the importance of love and brotherhood among the citizens of the homeland and their unified efforts to ensure the country's prosperity and well-being. At the conclusion of the speech, Sheikh Jazairi prayed to God Almighty to protect the nation and bring about security and stability everywhere across Syria.
صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم قل هو الله أحد الله الصمد لم يلد ولم يولد ولم يكن له كفوا أحد الله أكبر.
Prime Minister Dr. Wael al-Halaqi has stressed that protecting public properties is part of protecting the homeland, and that the role played by the workers is no less important than that of any soldier defending the country, adding that the exceptional circumstances through which Syria is passing require constant efforts and readiness. Al-Halaqi made his statements while he was inspecting the work situation at the Services Directorate in Kafar Souseh, the Reserve Bakeries Committee and the Fire Extinction Center in al-Mazze. He emphasized that the services and economy sector is stable despite the difficulties and challenges facing its cadres. Al-Halaqi listened during his tour to the workers' remarks and was briefed on the mechanism of their work to offer services to citizens. The workers stressed their constant readiness to meet citizens' needs and their stand on the side of the valiant army in defense of the homeland. On the occasion of Eid al Fitr, our people in Golan issued a statement in which they expressed their congratulation to President Bashar al-Assad on this holy anniversary, praying to God to restore stability and security to Syria and its people. The statement added that the people of Golan expressed their utmost regard to the Syrian Arab army and the great sacrifices they offered, wishing the wounded soldiers quick recovery. The statement condemned the massacres committed by the armed terrorist groups, the last of which targeted the city of Joramana and the attack on the village of Mughar al-Mir, in addition to the repeated aggression on the towns adjacent to occupied Golan. The statement concluded by expressing full solidarity with the Syrian people and its determination to confront the armed terrorist groups all across the country. In Damascus countryside, the Syrian Arab Army executed qualitative operation in Sasa, eliminating a number of terrorists and destroyed their vehicles equipped with heavy machine guns and ammunition. The army also targeted terrorists gathering in Khan al-Sheikh, killing dozens of them. In Damascus countryside, 5 citizens were killed and 12 others wounded when terrorists targeted residential areas in As-Sayyida Zainab with mortar shells. A police source said that the terrorist attack also caused heavy material damage to buildings, properties and cars near the scene. The Syrian Arab Army forces have targeted an armed terrorist group in Dorin that belongs to Slonfe province in Lattakia suburbs. A large number of terrorists, including non-Syrians, were killed or wounded during the operation. Among the killed were Moroccans, Libyans and Tunisians, in addition to 3 terrorists from the so-called Ahbabullah Brigade. Our armed forces today destroyed an anti-aircraft artillery gun, heavy machine guns and terrorist hideouts in Aleppo and its suburbs. They also foiled an attempt by terrorists to infiltrate into the ancient part of the city, killing and wounding several members of the group. An official source said an army unit eliminated the members of a terrorist group in Al-Ramoun in Aleppo, western suburbs, and other terrorist gatherings in Khan al-Assad. Other army units eliminated terrorists who committed acts of looting on Haretan, Aleppo, and Anadan al-Dana roads, destroying their weapons and equipment. The source added that an army unit also ambushed a terrorist group in the surrounding of Fallaha factory near Al-Narab camp, killing all the members of the group and destroying their equipment and heavy machines. In Castello neighborhood in Aleppo, the army destroyed 2 vehicles with the terrorists inside. Meanwhile, a car exploded while a terrorist gang was trying to get it trapped near Ma'arrat al-Artik. Several terrorists who were on the site were killed and their hideout was destroyed. UN experts filed a report to the UN Security Council in which they confirmed that the conflict in Syria is witnessing strong presence to al-Qaeda terrorists in Syria through the Iraqi wing, which recruits hundreds of foreign jihadis and sends them to Syria. The experts pointed out that the terrorist al-Nusra front affiliated with al-Qaeda represents the strongest faction fighting on the ground and taking part in the massacres against the Syrian people. The UN experts called for including these terrorist attacks in Syria to similar terrorist acts committed recently in Boston, Paris and London, which targeted innocent civilians. It's worth mentioning that Jabhat al-Nusra has already claimed responsibility for most of these terrorist attacks in Syria. Now, the latest business and market news after a short break. Stay tuned. Welcome back. The subsidiaries companies of the General Establishment for Engineering Industries have produced more than 2 billion and 200 million Syrian pounds during the 6 months of the year. The production and marketing report showed that the company's sales have exceeded 2 billion and 600 million Syrian pounds. By implementation rate reached about 60%, as the company of Wood and Damascus Cables Company have registered the highest rates of sales. The Ministry of Industry has prepared a draft law for establishing a technical center for the textiles industries asserting that establishing such centers for developing the technical and productive research of textiles industries, in addition to establishing modern laboratories internationally adopted that enable it to issue the international monitoring certificates for the laboratory studies and tests. The price of U.S. crude oil swung between gains and losses as China, the world's second biggest oil consumer, increased imports to a record in July. Futures fluctuated after slipping for a fourth day yesterday, while Brent for September settlement rose 8 cents to reach more than $107 a barrel. U.S. stocks declined, giving the Standard & Poor's 500 index its first 3-day drop since June 12, while European stocks were little changed. Amid growing speculation, the Federal Reserve may pare bond purchases this year as the economy strengthens. Japanese stock futures, on the other hand, fell after the central bank issued a policy statement. Gold firm today, but doubts over when the Federal Reserve will begin scaling back its monetary stimulus program kept the metal in a narrow range. Spot gold was up 0.2% to reach $1,291 an ounce, while U.S. gold futures for December delivery were up $3.40 an ounce. The yen rose to a 7-week high versus the US dollar amid bets the Bank of Japan at its policy meeting today will refrain from adding to stimulus that's helped weaken the currency 12% this year. The pound, on the other hand, advanced against the majority of its most traded counterparts. With this, we end our news for today. Thank you for watching. For more details about Syria and the region, and to view this bulletin again, you can always visit our website in English, syriaonline.sy. Happy Eid, everyone.